Game Square, Game Square. It's party time, it's excellent. Game Square, Game Square. Win or lose, they'll give you the news. Game Square. We're down in the basement talking baseball.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 12th episode of James Squared. I think we'll name this one after Mark Langston as number 12. I'm here, of course, with James Melau. I'm James Gonzales. How are you tonight, Melau?
Good. I'm good.
All right. We got to mention our sponsors. First of all, we'll go with No Boil Works. Make sure you visit their location at 1621 Sinclair Street, Suite B. And make sure to mention Heedy for some drink specials there before and after the game, like this weekend against Minnesota. Also, check out 714 Tickets.
714 tickets. 714 tickets. Call today. Go tonight.
Yes, because tickets are really cheap right now, if you haven't noticed. And if you put in that code HITI for 10% off, you're going to get a great deal. So make sure you put in that code. I'll put the ticker up that I forgot, but we'll get that in there right now. Just look down there. And of course, follow us on social media. Our YouTube page, James, is only 8 subs away from 1,000. So we got to get to that mark. Also, check us out on Believe for the recordings of this podcast, and just on Instagram, Twitter, or X. Yeah, Fernando with the question of the day every day right there. That's always a great thing. So check all of that out. So let's recap what happened the week with the Angels. The last game in Tampa Bay, Angels lost 2-1. It was just an unfortunate affair there. With the Angels again having runners on but could not get them home. Pipitote got the win. Canning got the loss. He actually pitched very well. The save went to Pache. Sano had a sacrifice fly, and that was pretty much it. And I have to mention, James, with the Rays, their season series is already over with the Angels. It sounds weird already, but the Angels lost 3 out of the 7 games to Tampa Bay this year, which really is unfortunate. Then it got worse for the Angels as they went on to lose 5 straight. 2, 3, and 4 here are they're in Cincinnati, Ohio. And that's where we look at Friday night's game. The Angels lost 7-1. Lodolo got the win for Cincinnati, and then Anderson had I want to say a bad start, but some things didn't go his way. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, and 2 runs. 1 was earned. 3 walks, which killed him. That sounds like a theme, doesn't it? 2 strikeouts, yes. 1 home run. Simber came in, and he just had a bad time on the mound. And then Cisnero also gave up a run. Simber, though, gave up 4 runs in that game. You got any opinions of that Friday night game back in Cincinnati?
It was just a horrible game overall, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So to mention, the Reds had their their City Connects on, so they looked a little odd there. The second game of that series, the Angels made a little comeback, but ended up losing 7-5. Sandoval got the loss there. Ashcraft got the win, and Diaz got his 3rd save.
Yeah.
Looking at Sandoval, he just had a poor night. 4 innings of work, 6 hits, 7 runs given up, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 1 run given up. Suarez didn't do so bad, Strickland as well, and Garcia. But it just started with Sandoval. I mean, once you give up those runs, once you're 7 runs behind right away, or 6 runs, I should say, you're just never going to get there. What do you think about that game in Sandoval?
Well, it's the same old stuff with Sandoval. It's between the years. It's mental. But he did a little better, you know. So hopefully his next start will be a lot better. These pitchers are starting to get better. This whole rotation, actually. Um, but he just got to keep doing what he's doing, and hopefully it works out for him.
Yeah, it's scary for sure. All right, so the Sunday game, and you were hoping you didn't get swept. Well, guess what?
Right.
Angels got shut out 3-0 to Cincinnati. Pagan got the win for him. Emil Pagan. Jose Soriano. He did very, very well in that game.
Very well.
I would say six innings of no-hit ball. I think it was 5, I should say. 3 hits, given up 3 runs. None of them were earned, though. 3 walks and 7 strikeouts. Cisnero also came in and shut the door down for 2 innings. But you got to give it up to Soriano. Unfortunately, that offense was not there in that series in Cincinnati. In that ballpark, you could hit it out. I mean, you saw Ellie De La Cruz have his fun, among others. But the Angels, man, it just didn't seem like they were getting help by their pitchers. And when they did, though, the offense couldn't get going. What do you think about that Sunday game?
Well, I was impressed with Soriano's start. He's really coming around as a starter. He pitched, 5 or 6 no-hit innings, and we just couldn't give him the offense that he needed. And we kind of imploded at the end there. But I was very impressed with his stuff. Man, he's getting the ball up there like 101, 102 miles an hour now. And, I didn't really think the experiment, as a starter would work. But, I mean, it seems to be working a little bit more within the last couple of weeks than I thought it would work out.
Okay, so the Orioles came to town for a 3-game series. Started out on Monday. Unfortunately, the Angels kept their losing streak going at 4, losing 4-2. Suarez got the win for Baltimore, not our Suarez. Detmers got the loss, and Kimbrel got his 6th save. So Reed Detmers went down to 3-1 for the season. This was his first, I think, unfortunate start of the season. He looked great in the other 3. But he went 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts, and he gave up 2 home runs. So that was really unfortunate to see. Adele did have a home run in this game, but I think it just came down to, again, the starters not giving it's either starters not doing well or the hitters aren't doing well, and this was kind of a mix for both. But Detmers, what did you see what he did wrong other from, the other starts he had this year for that Monday game?
Well, he wasn't as sharp as he was over the last few weeks, and I think, the key to Detmers is his slider, and it wasn't as crisp, wasn't as good, and it wasn't working for him as well as it was over the last couple of starts that we've seen. But I mean, he still pitched a pretty good game. He kept us in the game, but it was just, just not. He was having an off night, but I think it's going to change here in his next start. So, yeah.
So the Orioles in that game, Rutschman had a double, Henderson had a triple, and Henderson, man, he was all over the place. James McCann started 2 games of this 3-game series behind the plate. McCann homered, and then Cowser homered. And funny enough, there was a couple of people dressed up in cow heads during the series.
I saw that today.
Because Cowser was brought up, and all he did was hit home runs when he did get a hit. It was a theme this season so far for him. So the losing streak ended at 5. Luckily, on Wednesday night, the Angels were able to win 7-4 and hold on. Griffin Canning got his first win of the year. He's now 1-3. And then Grayson Rodriguez, the kid out of Texas for the Orioles, he kept leaving his off-speed pitches up. And boy, did the Angels take care of it.
Yeah.
Estevez got his fourth save. Looking at the hitting of this game, though, Adele, Rengifo, Ward, Ohapi, Nettle, they all had doubles. And it all seemed to be in a row in that in the first 4 innings, the Angels scored basically all of their runs. And they were able to hold on. I did want to mention as well, Trout homered. And this was the game, of course, where he led off for the first time since, 2012, I believe? And you were at this game, I want to say.
I was.
So what did you think about the Angels on this winning day that they had?
Yeah, well, it was a good game. First off, I got my tickets from 714 Tickets, put in the Heedy code, $5 tickets. Book it. Game tickets are pretty cheap right now because we're losing. But hey, anyway, that game was awesome. When I first saw the lineup for the day, I saw Trout leading off. I'm like, this is different. This is something we haven't seen in a very long time. Wonder if it's going to work. Sure enough, first at bat, he hits that solo homer. Didn't do anything after that, but he set the tone for what was a night where the bats came alive with Adele. Adele looked really good out there. Ward and then Ohapi, I think, had a couple hits, and then it looked like, we were going to cruise, and we started giving up some runs late, but Estevez shut them down. And from what I saw, it was, why couldn't we do this every day? Like you said, the pitcher was leaving his balls up in the zone. His pitches, I should say, up in the zone, and they were just hitting them like nothing. And Oriole fans, there was a lot of Oriole fans there, surprisingly. And
all series,
all series long, and that's not something that you see much of. But they're starting to win now, so they're coming out more. And it was good to see a young team like the Orioles compete with the Angels. Each game we were in there pretty much, so. In that game especially, we saw what this lineup could do, but we just need to do more of that. And, we had a good night, and we won 7-4. Today, not so much.
Griffin Canning went 5 innings that game, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4
Canning looked good.
Yes, he did. He did run into some issues later. His pitch count was going up. Now, Jackson Holiday, and I just talked about him on another podcast about sports, but Holiday came up. And of course, Tuesday's game was the only game I think he played at second base there, and he was 1 for 4, I want to say, but he did strike out a couple of times, and he's really struggling. So we didn't get to see him in the rest of the series, which was unfortunate. I really wanted to see him.
So did I.
It's just a thing. I know we're an Angel podcast or whatever, but what would you tell a kid struggling that, is 2 for 24, 2 walks, but 2 hits? He struggled defensively when he's played. He's also been a DH, I think, by the way. Remember, he was doing so well in spring training, and then he didn't make the major league roster. He went down and tore it up at AAA Norfolk, the Tides. And then they called him up, a couple of weeks ago, or no, maybe 2-3 weeks ago against the Red Sox. And he had a horrible, horrible time. He could not catch up but he couldn't hit the breaking balls. It's really tough for him right now. What would you say to a youngster like that might have his confidence down, only 20 years old, getting his first taste of MLB action, and he's struggling? What do you tell him, and do you think they should send him down?
Well, he got his first cup of coffee with the big club, and I remember a guy named Michael Nelson Trout, this guy right here, when he first came up with the Angels. He was having the same issues. He hit 212, I think, in that 2012 season. or no, 2011 season. He hit 212 when he first come up, and then they had him go back down to AAA to work on some things. Then he came up, and then he caught fire. And a young kid such as Jackson Holiday, it's the same formula. You bring him up, see what he can do. If he's not performing, you want him to play every day. So he's got to go back down AAA and refine his skills. But I don't think this ruins his confidence. I think he's got to get used to, the breaking balls in the major leagues are a little different than the breaking balls in the minors. It's at game speed. A lot of these pitchers, they're seasoned and they've been in the league for a while. So he's seeing pitches that he probably wouldn't normally see at, say, AAA right now, So as far as confidence, I just keep plugging, keep at it, keep getting at it. And yeah, well, he's gonna have a long career in the big leagues. Nothing to fret about that. I think they wanted to see what they had, and because he was so hot down in AAA, they had to bring him up to see what was going on. And I think a trip back to AAA would, do him good. I think they did. Did they? Is he back?
No, he's still on the team.
He's still on the team.
Yeah. He's up here
he can
only
learn
because
from the
there's
veterans.
injuries.
Yeah. But like say, Mike Trout did, absolutely the same thing. He wasn't perfect. I think he went 0 for in his first few games, and then they sent him back to AAA. But I remember that first game he came up, they were wearing their throwback unis. Mm-hmm. And I think he had a hit or something, and then he didn't do much after that. So he was on the team for a few days or a week or a couple weeks or something, and they sent him back down to AAA, and then he came back up. But much like Jackson Holiday, or much like Mike Trout, Jackson Holiday will have a long career in the major leagues.
Now, James, is it as simple as that scene in Major League where Soriano's at batting practice, where they say, hey, enough of those fastball, throw him some changeups, and Soriano can't hit him? Is it as simple as throwing him breaking balls in practice? Will that make him better, or is it more of a mental thing?
I think he's got to adjust. It's part mental. Well, baseball's with 80% mental, right? So the other 20% is ability. But the breaking stuff at the major league level is ungodly. It's like mm-hmm. It's a lot different from you see a breaking pitch in person. It's like tenfold, from high school or even the minors. So you just gotta. You can practice so much, but you got to get up to game speed, and you got to get your timing down. Timing's a big issue too. You got to hit major league pitching. You got to have your timing down. You got to adjust. You got to make in the game adjustments, and he'll learn all that. But it's tough for a young player such as Jackson Holiday to come up and start hitting right away. But he'll get it. You see this a lot with young rookies. We're seeing it with Shanuel now. Like he can still hit the ball, but he's slumping. Neto, same thing. He hit his first homer today, but of the season.
Now I do. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say these younger players are going to struggle. This is the growing pains.
What it reminds me of with Joe Odell, when he doesn't get opportunities, and when he does, there's some good, but there's a lot of bad. I mention that because in that second game of that series, remember, he was caught stealing for the third time of the season, and then he was picked off later in the game. That was a foreshadowing to Wednesday's afternoon game at the Big A. It was definitely taken over by the Orioles first, I would say. Yeah. At one point it was 6-0 Orioles. And the Angels came back with 3, had some power, get into the flow of things. But Gunnar Henderson, he hit his 8th home run of the year so far. Rochman brought in a run. Mateo had a ground rule double that brought home 1. It could have been 2 because Ward had a great effort at that ball in left field but couldn't dive and catch it.
Yeah.
Henderson had another base hit, a single that brought home 2 to make it 5-0. Then Mountcastle had a double play, but he brought him Henderson again to make it 6-0. Mike Trout homered, as everybody likes to say, a Han Solo shot for Trout, his 10th of the year. By the way, Trout is first to 10 home runs this season. And then Taylor Ward, he's been, I want to say one of the surprises, but he's been hitting very well so far. He had his 7th home run, a 2-1 shot to make it 6-3. Then Zach Neto hit a bomb in the bottom of the 8th to make it 6-4. Bottom of the 9th, you have Ohapi that brought home Adrianza to make it 6-5. Then Adele got on to first, and Rengifo came up. And it was a very close play at first. Rengifo, I think, took strike 1. And Adele, it looked like, had the foot on the bag before the tag by Henderson. It was ruled, at first out on the field, call on the field. They took their time in Secaucus, New Jersey, or wherever they have the league office in the New York tri-state area. And they came up with the same call. Even though it looked like he got his foot in there before the tag, it didn't hit his oven mitt, the tag. It hit his lower midsection or lower leg, but it looked like the foot got on there, which just pissed off everyone that was an Angel fan. Not saying that Rengifo would have got a hit, but at least you would have liked to give him a try to get a hit and possibly tie the game because Adele's speed is awesome. But damn it, I hate when that happens when replay is there. And like Todd Fox mentioned on his post-game show today, like LeBron James have said earlier, replay is supposed to be there to help you, not hurt you. And it seems like the Angels get these calls against them all the damn time. I mean, in that series we were at for the home opener against Boston, it looked like there were some that went against us, or calls at first that had to be overturned that looked easy. So Baltimore held on to win 6-5. They swept the Angels. Man, Tyler Anderson, it's getting frustrating. But he did fairly well today. 5 innings. He did take the loss. He's now 2-3. 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks. That was the big issue, James, or Milu. The 4 walks killed him. That extended innings, that was just so frustrating. He did end up striking 7 Orioles, but he did give a home run. And then the pitching got worse. I'm so frustrated and wondering why Jose Suarez is still up with the team. I know he's had options, but at this point, what is there else for him to do here? He went in his 2 third innings of work. He gave up 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk. Didn't get a strikeout or a home run. But, man, he was giving up those easy singles to bring in runs. I mean, it was so frustrating. Cisnero came in, 1 inning, 1/3 of work, 1 walk given up. Fulmer came in. He actually got called for a balk late in that game in his 2 innings of work. Gave up a hit, a walk, and struck out 2. Fulmer's been a big surprise, being called up because of the injury to Chase Silseth. But, man, this game was frustrating all over the place. Kimbrel got the save, of course, for the Orioles. Dean Kremer, got the win. It almost sounds like a 90s Superman, Dean Cain, I'm thinking of, name for the Orioles there. He got the win. So a frustrating Wednesday afternoon. What do you think about Suarez? What do you think about Anderson and that last play that cost the Angels the loss?
Well, it all comes down to Suarez, and I said on the in our little chat, I said DFA Suarez because I don't, just like you, James, I don't know why in the hell he's still on this roster, because every time he comes in, he seems to blow games. But the Orioles took 2 out of 3 from us in that series. One bright spot though that we haven't mentioned is the heart this team is showing, and the comeback that they have. We were down 6-0 at one point today, thanks to Suarez. Mike Trout hit another solo homer that leads the major leagues right now. He's the first to 10, as you said, and we have fight. This team has a lot of fight. I think that kind of grit is going to serve us well down the road when we get into other games. But I was watching Ron Washington's his news conference,
Mm-hmm.
his press conference today, and he said, he gave them all this words, thinking, he could go and get people out, but it just didn't work out that way. He didn't want to deplete the bullpen, so he went with a guy that doesn't pitch all that much. And lefty, he faced some lefties expecting to get lefties out, and he didn't do that. He didn't do his job, and it just didn't work out for him today. But as far as Adele, he was totally safe, and the whole stadium knew it. Every coach, every player, even the Orioles, they didn't even get off the field.
Right.
If you can see the looks on their faces, they knew he was safe. And then they call New York and they overturn it. It was just ridiculous. Even Wayne Randazzo and Gooby, they were pissed off about the whole ordeal. He was totally safe, but I guess they had a plane to catch, which they just landed in Baltimore from Long Beach. But to have a game end in that fashion was just horrible, and it seems like the Angels always get these calls that end games or that don't go their way, and it costs us the outcome of the game, and not in a good way. So it sucks.
So I hope I didn't mention that they got swept, but it felt like a sweep to the Orioles. If it wasn't for Grayson Rodriguez having his bad start, it would have been a sweep.
It would have been a sweep.
Excuse me. So the season series against the 3 Angels opponents in the AL East, it went like this. The Orioles take the season series 4-2. The Rays win the series 4-3, and then the Red Sox win the season series over the Angels 4-2. Just odd again that we're done with those teams already. It's odd as hell. That May will be the first time the Angels will play a divisional opponent.
Right.
It's weird as hell. So let's look up the standings real quick. The Angels sit at 3rd place, 10-15, 3 games out of first. First place Texas is 13-12, and then Seattle, who has risen from the bottom, are at 512-12. They're a half game out. Oakland is 4 games out, 9-16. Who had that? And also, who had this? The Houston Astros are 7-18 and 6 games out. What's going on? Baltimore, yeah. Baltimore,
Mikey likes it.
Yeah. What is this? Baltimore is 2nd place. They're a half game out of first at 16-8. The Yankees are 17-8 at first. Maybe a surprise, maybe not. But we'll see the AL East later on, I think, in the season. So let's get to previewing and predicting the series against the Twins, as we have another home series here. Now, the first game we'll have, let's see here, on this Friday night. I believe, is that Star Wars night, Milu?
Yeah, well, there's two nights where they're going to feature Star Wars first night. Then they're going to have an 800 drone show on Saturday night.
Oh,
and
boy.
that's going to be cool. Yeah, that's like one of the first of its kind. It hasn't been did, to my knowledge, at Angels Stadium yet for an Angels game. Better than fireworks. This is going to be a drone show. And as I was leaving the stadium last night, they were playing Star Wars music. I think they were just testing out the sound system. I thought that was a lot. I was like, oh, it was great because they're preparing for Star Wars weekend. But yeah, it's going to be the Twins, man. If we can't take 2 out of 3 from the Twins, and they're terrible, and they've won 3 straight against
the Twins come
Chicago
in at
White Sox.
10 that's who they played. They come in at 10-13, by the way. The Angels at 10-15. The Twins, I think, had some rainouts early in the season. Bailey Ober, not Uber, but Ober, number 17, will be the starter for the Twins on Friday. He's 1-1 with a 4.91 ERA. That sounds familiar. He has 17 strikeouts on the season. Sandoval will be the starter, Patrick Sandoval. Man, it's a roller coaster with him. It really is.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
He's like a box of chocolates. To quote Forrest Gump, you never know what you're going to get with Sandoval.
He's 1-3, got a 6.75 ERA, 24 strikeouts, but the walks, the hits, they just don't go away. It's as simple as that. So that's Friday night starters. By the way, this game, with all of the playoffs going on in Southern California, will be on KCOP Channel 13.
Yay! So I can actually watch a game.
That's the way it goes sometimes.
Or weekend.
Because I think
Right,
the Kings play and the Clippers play at the same time. So that's why the Angels have been relegated to KCOP locally. And it's just weird how it is. But when you have so many teams in one market, that's what happens. So for Saturday, the Twins don't have a starter announced yet. Jose Soriano will go. He's 0-3 this year. Kind of hard luck losses in 2 of those starts, I want to say, or in his starts all year long. 3.43 ERA, 22 strikeouts. And then at 107 on Sunday, the Twins again do not have a starter. They have a lot of injuries there. Reed Detmers will go for the Angels. He's 3-1 with a 2.12 ERA and 24 strikeouts himself. You say, I say for this series, you know what? I'm going to be positive for once.
Really?
I'm going to say
You hear that, Trouty?
For once.
James is going out on a limb here.
I say they take 2 out of 3 a Rally Chris special. I just feel like the last 2 starters look good. The Twins look bad. But, man, it all comes down to Sandoval. If Sandoval does well and the offense has its way, maybe they sweep them. But I think they get the twin killing, so to speak. What do you think? What's your prediction for the weekend series?
Yeah,
Twins
I'm with
Angels.
you, James. I'm gonna stay positive. I think we take 2 out of 3. I think it's a must. We need to win a series. It's ridiculous. We need to win the series, and this team is struggling. I think we're going to come out guns a-blazing because we're going to be mad from this. I'm going to say it. We could have won today's game or Wednesday's game, and they're going to be mad. They're going to have a day off. They're going to, recoup, come out, and hopefully score some runs for us. And I think Sandoval's going to do well, too, in this next start. So 2 out of 3 for me. And, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good series. Star Wars nights, 2 Star Wars nights coming up, Star Wars weekend. So it's going to be, the Force will be with us, hopefully.
Nerds. Unfortunately, Melau, as the next topic comes up, I hope, the injury bug continues to haunt the Halos.
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday afternoon, Miguel Sano had a great diving stop, come up and throw play. He's been really good with the absence of Rendon, who left the April 20th game with his hamstring issue. Sano, though, had to exit Wednesday afternoon's game with left knee soreness. He is considered day-to-day. Washington
I have an update on that, by the way.
Oh, what do you say?
Also, while watching Ron Washington's press conference after the game, his post game, he said that it's nothing to worry about. It's just his knee's a little sore, and he's been dealing with it all week. So it wasn't from that diving play. A reporter actually asked him if that's what it was from, but he'll be fine. He's probably going to take tomorrow, so it's an off day. So
yeah.
So it's going to be good for us. It's going to be good for Sano, I should say, and he's going to relax and rest that knee. Hopefully, he's in the lineup on Friday night. If not, we have Adrianza or Rengifo to take over at third. But yeah, he's okay. He's not going on the IL or anything like that. But
that'd be just another one to go on, man. Michael Stefanik, he had that left quad strain from spring training. He continued his rehab work. He's resuming progression on the 23rd, and he resumed taking ground balls. Maybe next month, I want to say, for him. I mentioned Anthony Rendon. He had the left hamstring strain as he was running the bases. Possibly he'll be back late May. He beat out that infield single that night, and then he was put on the IL the next day. Isn't that special?
Yeah, exactly.
And, of course, the big news, I think, last week and this week, Robert Stevenson. Well, we're going to have to wait till next year for his Angel debut.
18 months. I also have an update on that. It was Tommy John surgery, so he's going to be out 18 months.
He had a torn
a year and a half.
Collateral ligament. Hopefully he'll be back sometime next year. But, man, I was really looking forward to him coming back and being a part of this ball club, in some way, helping out Estevez, Garcia, which Garcia has been really good as of late. That's not, I'm here, railing everyone, but Garcia has actually been really good. So luckily that's been the case. Well, I think that's it for this episode of James Squared here, the 12th episode. We can only hope the Angels, finally win a series and get somewhat back on track. The Phillies come in for 3 to end the month of April going into May, and you're just hoping for, again, you were that close to beating the Orioles. How close can you be to overcome and beat the Phillies in the series? We'll see next week. Just stay tuned to, Halos in the Infield here. Check out all the shows, all the podcasts. Watch us on social media. And then check out our sponsors at Nobel Works and 714 Tickets.
714 Tickets. 714 Tickets. Sorry, you hear that, Mikey? Yeah. Mikey approved.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I hope to get out there either Sunday or Wednesday for those day games, because I know those will be the cheapest, and hopefully Bryce Harper will play. Who knows? That'd be fun having Bryce Harper and Mike Trout coming in and playing each other, and those comparisons just always seem to intertwine.
Yeah. Remember the comparisons that Bryce Harper was going to be by and far better than Mike Trout? Remember that those times they're comparing the two, who was going to be better? Well, Mike Trout is the overall better player, but Bryce Harper has been to the playoffs more often than Mike Trout has. So
that's where that has to change.
Exactly.
And we'll leave it at that, and we'll come back to that topic and see how each other did against each other. That'll be That'll be a lot of fun for sure. All right, take care, everyone. Thank you for watching again.
Thank you, guy.
The 12th episode of James Squared. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe. Again, the YouTube subs, we're so close to 1,000. Let's make it happen.
Let's get to 1,000. This could be fun.
Take care, folks. Bye.
Go Halos, baby.